It is dubbed the crisis of the 21st century, and addressing it is both urgent and expensive. Across the globe, over 279 million tons of ice have been lost since 2002, according to NASA. Over the past 30 years, frequency and intensity of hurricanes have amplified and global sea levels have risen by over 3 inches since 1993. St. Lucia has not been spared by Mother Nature's wrath. Flooding, longer droughts, and a coastline overtaken by the sea is today's reality. Minimizing human vulnerability to environmental changes is largely determined by the extent to which societies can develop and organize themselves to manage the impacts from hazardous events or disturbance trends in social, economic, and environmental systems. It is important to note that natural climate variability is not attributable to or influenced by any activity related to humans. A prominent aspect of our climate is variability. This variability ranges over many time and space scales and includes phenomena such as El Niño, La Niña, droughts, multi-year, multi-decade, and even multi-century changes in temperature and precipitation patterns. Cognizant of the medium and long-term impacts of climate change, the government of St. Lucia has adopted a strategic approach.
We are building in a different style, in a different format in St. Lucia. So you would have seen the solar farm that was established down at Huronora. This is a 3 megawatt. We are in the process of working on another 10 megawatt facility. And all of these projects are geared towards not just reducing our carbon footprint, but making St. Lucia more ready for benefits that can be derived from climate resilience.
Climate change aggravates existing problems such as inequality, discrimination, and poverty. This is why climate finance should be targeted to help vulnerable populations. Under the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, the international community has agreed that industrialized countries who were the biggest contributors to greenhouse gas pollution should support climate projects in developing countries. These financial transfers are often multilateral climate funds, the largest of which is the Green Climate Fund. It has only been operational since 2015, yet it has funded more than 100 projects. These projects help communities to adapt to the effects of climate change and transition to clean energy production.
There are different modalities of accessing funding under the GCF. So you've got Readiness support, which essentially seeks to strengthen the institutional capacity of the country to engage with the GCF. For St. Lucia, as well as other countries, the GCF institutes what you call a National Designated Authority, which is our ministry. As one of the modalities, you've got Readiness support, which is to strengthen the NDA to be able to do so. But there's also project facilitation as well as funding proposals.
The objective of St. Lucia's GCF Readiness Support, initiated in 2018, is to strengthen the institutional structures to ensure the efficient, effective, and transparent use of climate finance resources and assist in the design of adaptation and mitigation interventions that lead to transformative and impactful results.
We have our pipeline of projects through the country program that span the sectors of water and agriculture and fisheries and tourism and infrastructure and education and health and tourism, as well as transport and energy. And working with them and with the pipeline, currently we have a water project with the Green Climate Fund in approximately $10 million that we are trying to get accepted for the funding. We are expecting to be able to submit another very shortly in terms of fisheries, another in health as well as another to help us with our nationally determined contribution, which is a document or a piece that countries develop to help them indicate how they will actively try to reduce emissions.
St. Lucia is positioned to benefit from the GCF with a slate of climate change mitigation and adaptation initiatives.
One is the Castries Vision 2030. So there is a program, a proposal that we are in the process of submitting to the GCF that would make a contribution in that area involving electric mobility, energy conservation, as well as building resilience around the seafront in Castries.
Our approach is that we are asking the GCF funds to support us in what we call a green affordable housing program. And this program is really assisting the government with the rollout of its housing, both mixed use and social housing, for 11 communities. And the intention really is to use those funds to, first of all, encourage persons to move from low-lying areas. The persons in Ancillary, in Dennery, in Soufrière, in all of those areas where they are prone to flooding, Bexon, we want them to now look at these housing communities as being an alternative to where they live.
As a new fund, the GCF tries to learn from the mistakes of other organizations where climate projects had harmful consequences such as environmental degradation or human rights violations. The fund aims to take a rounded approach, not just financing climate action, but also supporting social and economic development, reducing emissions, and addressing the impacts of climate change.
The country program of climate action which St. Lucia has developed helps chart a path of national development in prioritizing what needs to be done, and also provides GCF with an invaluable guide on how we should direct our climate finance support. The Caribbean Community Climate Change Center plays a vital role in implementing GCF's readiness and preparatory support in St. Lucia. It is my hope that with the help of the 5 Cs, St. Lucia would use the GCF's readiness funding to institutionalize climate change interventions as an integral part of its national development agenda.
To date, St. Lucia has benefited from $17.3 million in green climate funding to improve the Eastern Caribbean engagement with the GCF, address issues pertaining to project development, data and information gaps, public-private engagement, and to facilitate and support the participation of non-stakeholders in project identification and development. The funds have also been used to improve SEDIMA's early warning system readiness, to support the development of a credit risk abatement facility, and for CARICOM states and mainstream coral resilience and restoration of an eco-based adaptation strategy to climate change in the Caribbean region.
The GCF is well placed to continue supporting St. Lucia, not only with financing, but also by providing technical guidance. We encourage St. Lucia and other small island developing states to make use of every resource that GCF can provide to bolster society's ability to adapt to climate effects while enhancing national climate ambition and action.
The GCF has committed to protecting and promoting human rights, and funded projects are supposed to be gender responsive and respect the rights of women and indigenous people by requiring consultation with them, as well as remaining committed to accountability and transparency to all donor partners and fund recipients.
The GCF's continued investment in building the region's climate resilience is critical. Such investments must now be scaled up. The 5 Cs is ready to use its experience, its know-how, and its strong partnership with the Green Climate Fund to mobilize the financing necessary to improve the Caribbean's resilience to climate change.